Happy Halloween, everybody! I'm Alexa, resident Oogie Spooky Girly, and I love that we get to spend tonight together chatting about urban legends. See, I even wore like my Halloween shirt. Isn't it cute? And I've got my planchette necklace. It just really is the best time of the year. See? Orange. Now, in the spirit of the season, while some of today's legends might be a little goofy and out there, for one night, let's pretend like everything is true at first, and have some fun, and then we can dissect later. Question for you, what's your favorite urban legend? Some of mine are on today's list, so let me know yours in the comments, and welcome to the top 5 terrifying Halloween urban legends only the brave can survive. Number 5, The Hook. Is this also a very common horror movie trope? Absolutely, and I love a good spooky movie. So let's dive into this tale together and then unpack it, shall we? So after leaving a friend's Halloween party, a boyfriend and girlfriend decided to drive the short distance to a favorite lake park. And the youngsters arrived at the spot to find it vacant, and of course, it was a beautiful romantic setting with a full moon shimmering on the water, ooh la la. Now, in modern versions of the tale, the boy scrolled through his playlist to find the perfect music, wink wink, when both of the duo's phones beeped with a police alert warning for everyone to be on the lookout for a man with a prosthetic hook who was seen fleeing the scene of a killing. The two teenagers realized the address of the crime scene was only a couple of blocks from where they were parked. Common sense kicked in and they decided to leave the park, but when they tried to start the car, the engine wouldn't turn over. They tried several times and finally the engine coughed to life and they hightailed it out of the park. So much for that romantic evening. They talked about their Halloween not ending quite the way they wanted, and the girlfriend suggested they go back to her house to watch a scary movie. When they arrived at her house, they parked in the driveway behind her parents' cars. The girlfriend got out and turned back to wait for her boyfriend, but hanging from her car door, dun dun dun, was a prosthetic hook. And ... Now, I've heard a few versions of this tale, especially since having cell phones is a pretty modern version of the story and a pretty PG version. As a gal who drives a vehicle, I always check the backseat and trunk of my SUV before I start driving, and that's mainly because I keep my work bag in the back seat, so I have no choice but to do so. It's a big work bag. Can we question how the killer got into the back seat without the duo noticing? Sure, but remember, Halloween night tonight, folks, and we like to suspend disbelief around here. To quote one of my favorite current internet references, being Delulu is the Solulu. Number 4, Spiderwig. I swear to all things in the universe, the stuff I talk about for your entertainment at the cost of my own fears should really be noted more. If you're new to my chaos, I'm so sorry, but spiders and I are not a good combination. So if you see me shuddering while telling this tale, it's not an act, it's real. Wanting an authentic costume for a Halloween party, a young woman headed up to the attic of her home to look through her trunk of old clothes. I get it, authenticity, been there. A 1920s French dress caught her eye, and she knew she had to wear it. Holding it up in front of herself, she danced around in the attic, stopping in front of a tall mirror. It was perfect. Amazing. She gazed at herself in the mirror and frowned at her hairstyle. It was all wrong. She needed like a bobbed hairdo, she wanted the accuracy. I appreciate the attention to detail, trust me, I'm a cosplayer. Suddenly, she remembered that she'd seen a wig at the bottom of the trunk, and she retrieved it and was about to, try it on when the doorbell rang. Clutching the wig and dress, she ran down the stairs to open the front door. And who was standing there? Nothing crazy yet, just her best friend, screaming, "Hey, we're gonna be late. I'll steam the wrinkles in the dress while you do your hair. Just we need to hurry." You know what, it sounds like me trying to corral my friends to go anywhere on time. I love one of my best friends, but you gotta give her that time that's like a half an hour different than everybody else so she's on time. So once our narrator was dressed, the woman was thrilled with her costume. The two left for the party giggling at how she looked like a 1920s gangster's mall. Now if you need context, because at first I was like, that term was used to describe the female companion of a male professional criminal. Mall tends to be used as a euphemism for a lady of the night, and I'm totally adding that to my interweb thesaurus. By the time the duo arrived at the party, the woman was kind of, scratching at the wig. Having never worn a wig before, she had no idea it could feel so itchy and crawly. Hey arachnophobes, skip ahead now. I'll see y'all at the next point. Don't worry. You good? Okay. So the duo had only been at the party for about 5 minutes when the crawling sensation became unbearable. Our narrator exclaimed, "This wig is so itchy, I don't think I can stand it for the rest of the night." Her friend looked at her and screamed, pointing at the wig as black spiders crawled out from underneath it. The woman shrieked as the spiders covered her face. She panicked and slapped at the spiders as they traveled down her arms, and she jerked the wig from her head and threw it on the floor. A sea of baby spiders burst from the wig, scattering everywhere, and the partygoers, screamed and ran from the room. It seems as if a spider had spun a nest inside the wig, and the little creepy crawlies had all hatched in time for the Halloween costume party. The poor woman ran from the party, and in her absence, was actually awarded first place for the creepiest Halloween Spider-Woman costume. Excuse me, I need a moment to recover mentally from that visual. Rhea Ripley, Rhea Ripley, Rhea Ripley. Hey look, a girl can dream. As a cosplayer and character performer, I've definitely worn my fair share of questionable wigs in this lifetime, and sure, some of them have been itchy, or just plain old uncomfortable, but I can't say I've ever found anything other than a straight bobby pin or glitter in one. Oh wait, you know what? Never mind, I did find a pine cone in one last weekend, but that was a colleague playing a practical joke. Long story. Do I believe this tale could actually happen? Sure. Number 3, poisoned candy and or razor blades. A Halloween classic. So one Halloween, a boy and his friends decided they wanted a bigger candy haul than the year before, and after they had gone to every house in their neighborhood, they decided to walk a few blocks to a different neighborhood. After all, with costumes, nobody's gonna know that they don't belong there. And they managed to finagle so much candy that they left pretty content. The boys went home and sat down on the porch to empty out their bags. They compared the candies they had, trades, how many Mars bars for Smarties and so forth and so on, and one of them opened a candy bar and bit down on it. Redness oozed from his mouth and he cried out in agony. His parents rushed onto the porch to find that he had bitten into a razor blade and that he had sliced off his tongue that now lay on the porch in front of him. His mouth had several cuts otherwise. The ambulance came and took the boy to the hospital, where doctors managed to stitch up his mouth and reattach his, tongue. The police warned parents against allowing their offspring to trick-or-treat at the homes of people they don't know. Okay, I'm temporarily breaking my believe everything fun for a moment, because if you truly believe this urban legend, one of my former university profs would like to have words with you. Everyone and their mother has a story from a friend of someone finding tampered candy on Halloween night. But if you follow up on any of those, they're all totally hoaxes. No one is giving out tampered candy on Halloween or free restricted consumables, if you catch my drift. They're too expensive. In history, there's only been one case of someone deliberately poisoning Halloween candy, but it wasn't a random, little ones. It was Ronald O'Brien of Texas, who intentionally spiked his son's pixie sticks with cyanide, hoping to collect a huge insurance payout. He also gave the candy to 3 other young folks, hoping to cover his track, but apparently none of them liked pixie sticks, so none of them indulged. Now his son sadly passed away from the poisoning. Don't worry, Ronald received the death penalty and died via lethal injection in 1974. Oh, before I forget, there's a temporary tattoo variant to this tale, and I gotta tell it because it makes me laugh. So 2 girls, cousins, went trick-or-treating together every year. One year when they returned home, the girls were thrilled to discover they'd each received a unicorn temporary tattoo. Hey, I love unicorns. They showed the tattoos to their moms, who thought they were a clever idea to give to trick-or-treaters. The girls quickly applied the tattoos to their arms, and within a few minutes their moms noticed they were acting strangely. It was almost as if they were, intoxicated, or worse, drugged. The moms scooped up their daughters and rushed them to the hospital, where the doctors believed the girls were definitely under some sort of influence. The police confiscated all their candy, but the lab reports showed nothing wrong. The next day, after the 2 young girls had recovered, one of the moms was picking up her daughter's Halloween costume from the floor when she noticed the used tattoo packaging. She grabbed a plastic bag and took it to the police station. And what do you know? The lab report on the tattoo revealed it had been laced with a hallucinogenic substance. Folks, it's not possible. And if you believe that, it's on you. Number 2, Hail Mary. Does this game have a much more mainstream name? Sure. But the interweb doesn't like the B word at all, so bear with me here. It's a mixture of game and urban legend because honestly, who didn't try to summon this gal at least once back when they were in school? Don't lie to me and tell me on a Halloween night when you were like, middle school age, you didn't try. Originally in history, Mary wasn't summoned for the purpose of eye gouging or other macabre reasons. She was summoned to show a woman her future. You would do a candlelit ritual, and if executed correctly, you'd catch either a glimpse of your future husband's face or you're gonna see a skull, meaning you're gonna die before marriage. It's less horrifying, but way more depressing than today's version, if you ask me. Since I know this is what you're all waiting for, yes, we'll go through the ritual, urban legend. Make of that what you will. For this mess, you need a mirror, candles, and matches or a lighter. You start the game by turning off all the lights in the house, or whatever room you're in. Arrange all the candles around the mirror except for whatever one you're gonna hold. You do need to have some light. May I recommend a candle holder? Wax hurts. Light all the candles. Once you're calm, close your eyes and begin spinning in a circle while chanting B-L-O-O-D-Y, Mary 13 times. You visualize her, and then after the 13th chant, open your eyes and voila! You're either going to see her in the mirror, or you're going to see nothing. Those who have allegedly seen her and survived her encounter have described her as a rotting skeletal figure with nothing more than redness-covered bones, long, sharp nails, some rotting flesh, and clumps of matted red hair. Some say she's eyeless, and others say she wears the eyes of her past victims. Most people I know haven't really ever seen her. But hey, others say that she will drag you into the mirror to live with her forever. Have fun. If that happens, let me know. Number 1, Killer in the Backseat. Yep. I'm ending today with a classic trope. Late on Halloween night, a nurse was driving home from work when she noticed a car that seemed to be following her. The driver began sporadically flashing the high beams on and off, and if you're not a driver, you don't understand just how bleeping annoying that can be. The nurse sped up, and the car behind her sped up as well. Now she called 911 and told the police that somebody was chasing her. The dispatcher told her to stop her car and get out of it immediately. The nurse thought the dispatcher had lost her mind, but just then a police car pulled in front of her, forcing her to stop. The dispatcher told her once more, get out and go to the police car. So she emerged from the car, and one of the police officers told her to get in the back seat of his car. She noticed that the two officers had their weapons drawn, and that the car that was following her had stopped several yards behind her. The nurse didn't know what to expect, like everything's racing through her mind, and the first cop walked towards the driver's side of her car, while the other moved around the passenger side. They stood with their weapons and flashlights aimed at the back seat. Hands up and get out of the car, one officer yelled. The nurse watched as the police officers dragged a man from the back seat of the car. Now she later discovered that the car flashing its lights was driven by a woman who noticed the man rise up from the back seat, holding what she thought was a stabby kitchen utensil. She immediately called 911, and each time the man was up from the back seat, the woman flashed her high beams to, get him to pop back down. Once again, similar to earlier, this preys on the fear of the backseat, so be careful folks. Also, what kind of driver doesn't notice something moving behind them in the window? Like if the other lady could see it, so could the driver. Well folks, that brings us to the end of our Halloween night together. I hope you enjoyed my storytelling, and if you did, could you help us out by giving this video a like, subscribing if you aren't already, hit the bell for more urban legends from us here at Top 5 Scary Videos, and I'll see y'all next time, you lovely spooky people. Oh right, happy Halloween everyone, stay safe out there.